Okay, if you are a late night snacker, listen up. We're going to be talking about this habit and why it might not be such a good habit and ways to turn it around, so stay tuned.
Also, eating too much processed sugar.
So, hey there. In case you don't know us, I'm Stephanie and I'm here with Jane. We're the Nourishing Gurus, and we help women over 50 heal their relationship with food and stop yo-yo dieting in a healthy, sustainable way. So, an issue that we hear so many women talk about right now is that darn late night eating habit. Breaking this habit can often lead to seriously significant benefits, not only for weight loss, but just for overall health. So when we eat too close to bedtime, it can lead to digestive issues like reflux, and not eating for several hours before bed allows digestion to occur and gives time for the contents in the stomach to move into your small intestine. Eating also prompts the release of insulin, which is a hormone that our body uses for energy. So how much energy do you really want to have before you go to bed? Plus, you're putting more calories into your body at a time when you won't be burning them. Additionally, you're eating against what we call the circadian rhythms. And there's a lot of research on eating and their circadian rhythms, and it's a growing field for sure. So it's something to pay attention to. Yeah, so if you think about the daily cycle of daylight and darkness, and that's what we really want to follow when it comes to eating. Be up and about and eat when it's light out, and be resting and sleeping and not eating when it's dark. It's obviously not always the easiest thing to do with our schedules these days. Sometimes people have to work later, or just kind of hard to eat dinner at an earlier time, but do the best you can. So this schedule has changed over the course of the years as we've added more artificial light and electronics into our lives. But the goal is to stick with the circadian rhythm as much as possible. Having said that, of course, we know that with today's lifestyles, it isn't completely possible, but we want to try and follow the idea of eating more of our calories when it's naturally light out as much as possible and skip the late night snacking. Okay, so how do you do this? Let's dive into our 8 strategies right now. Okay? Number 1, remind yourself that the body loves an overnight fast, even if it's just a 12-hour fast. While you're sleeping, the brain stores information, gets rid of toxic waste, and nerve cells communicate and reorganize, which supports healthy brain function. So the body repairs cells, restores energy, and releases molecules like hormones and proteins. Just keep that in mind, and sometimes that helps, just reminding yourself that you want to do an overnight fast.
Okay, our second strategy is all about visualization. You visualize what it will feel like the next morning instead of talking yourself out of it in the moment. So, for instance, instead of saying to yourself, oh my gosh, just get out of the kitchen, you don't belong in the kitchen, or come on, you really don't need a snack tonight, or oh my gosh, don't eat anything, you're just gonna break your diet. Instead, scratch all that and picture the next morning. Picture waking up the next morning, opening your eyes, and just feeling totally amazing that you had this beautiful overnight fast. You're waking up, you have all this great energy, and facing the day feeling just lighter and so happy that you had a nice break of eating overnight and you did indulge in your nighttime snack. So ultimately, feeding your brain these positive messages and the effect of not doing something is far greater motivation than the effect of doing something with the negative result. Does that make sense? So the positive always outweighs the negative, and we'd love for you to try this strategy. We've shared this with a lot of clients and it's worked so beautifully. Again, don't talk yourself out of something, but picture the positive effect of not doing it. It's beautiful. Okay, moving on to number 3 is peppermint. Believe it or not, just the smell of peppermint can help quell cravings. So just keep a little bottle of peppermint around. We have our favorite brand that we'll share in the description, and just taking a nice whiff can be enough sometimes to kind of eliminate or just quell or diminish the craving or just wanting to eat something. So it's kind of just an easy little hack that often works. So give that a try and see if that helps. That sort of kind of blends into our 4th strategy, which is to break the habit by a habit interrupt or breaking your habit loop, we call it. So typically nighttime snacking is kind of started by a trigger. Like for instance, one of the most common things we hear is that women love to sit down at night, watch TV, and like have a snack when they're watching TV. This is just a typical connection between a habit and a behavior. So what you want to do is try to come up with something really concrete that's going to interrupt that particular habit. And usually, we brainstorm with our clients all the time. We have handouts on this. People come up with their own strategies, but it could be anything from, again, like smelling peppermint. It could be journaling. It could be bringing out an adult coloring book. It could be having a buddy that you text with. That's sort of like your habit interrupt buddy. Anything you can do in the moment that's going to substitute for the habit. And if you do it a few nights in a row, you can start to sort of get in the momentum of doing something else that's going to take the place of the habit you're trying to ditch. So just brainstorm yourself, kind of jot down a few ideas of what you think might benefit you, and practice that for a few nights and see how that goes.
Number 5. Be sure that you are actually eating enough during the day. And that includes enough protein, enough fat, and of course fiber. But protein in particular, we talk about this a lot in our videos, and be sure to check out some of our other videos about this. But the body actually wants a certain amount of protein, and if you don't get enough, it's going to keep sending messages to your brain like, hey, keep eating more. So if you're not eating enough during the day, well, of course, you're going to be hungry at night. So it doesn't necessarily work so well if you try to not eat as much during the day if it makes you just hungry at night. And that's certainly at a time when our willpower or our ability to say no is harder. So number 5, make sure you're eating enough during the day. Moving on to number 6 is get support. If a family member sabotages you, just have a conversation with them. Have an honest conversation. And we have this video here, we'll pop it up. It's ways to talk to a family member to get support. So number 7 is get comfortable with being a little hungry, especially if you've been in the habit of eating at night. It can take time to break this habit. So think about when you have to get blood work done and you know you have to fast overnight. Well, you're not eating then and you survive, right? Just get used to having a little bit of hunger. And then actually, if you stop eating at night, and you get through, I'd say, a week or so, you tend to not have those feelings of hunger. It kind of resets what we call our ghrelin hormone, which is our hunger hormone. So once you get through a certain amount of days without eating in the evening, it will be so much easier.
Our final strategy actually has to do with if you truly are physically hungry and you feel like you cannot go to sleep unless you have a snack, then make a plan to have at least something healthy, like a handful of nuts or pumpkin seeds, a little piece of hard cheese and a clementine, an apple and nut butter, something that's, just kind of going to give something in your stomach that can help you get to sleep, but that isn't too big of a meal that's going to disrupt your sleep or make you feel too full or uncomfortable. So have a snack planned on hand or a snack in your mind that you can go to if it's true physical hunger and you really literally can't fall asleep without it. That's the one time we would say go for it, have something before bed, which does happen to us occasionally too. Okay, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. If you are looking for more support and expert guidance on losing weight and getting healthier, we have our Simply Nourished Solutions 12-week program. It's a proven system to help women not only shed weight, but retrain their brains so that they can keep it off for good. We'll share a link in the description below about when the next program is starting. As always, again, thanks for watching. And if you know someone who would benefit from this information, please share it with them. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified for future videos for more helpful tips on living healthy after 50, as we post every single week.